Hello, I'm Dennis Chung from Jones Engineering. We are ComAp's distributor in China. So our business is we sell ComAp controllers in China for use in China and also for genset packages in China to build gensets with ComAp. If you need to buy ComAp controllers in the other parts of the world, please don't look for me. I have links to ComAp's website to find the distributors and subsidiaries around the world. So if you need the products I will talk about today, if you need them outside of China, please talk to them. Don't look for me. So with that said, this year our GPower show, which typically is in Shanghai, has been moved to Nanjing. So this is GPower 2022. Due to travel restrictions, I think most of you will not be able to attend the show in Nanjing. So I'm going to take everyone through to a virtual walkthrough. Let's go in and take a look. So this year's show will be in 3 halls in the Nanjing Expo. Hall 7, Hall 6, and the ComAp booth is in Hall 5, right in the entrance facing AXA. So it's very easy to find us. So let's step inside. So this is our booth. It's a big booth. Too bad everybody can't come this year from outside of China, but hopefully next year, everybody are welcome to come and you can see our booth in real person. So let's walk around the booth. The first wall you will see, when you come in, you will see our hybrid wall. So you see there are wind turbines, there are solar PV panels, then there are gensets. Probably batteries too, but it's just not shown in the photo right here. So let's go in a bit closer. ComAp has several systems. For this show, we are showcasing mainly 2 systems. One we call the simple hybrid microgrid solution based on our IG500 controller and also with our field bus gateways to talk to PV inverters or wind turbines or battery energy management systems, the best systems. So these are typically for smaller microgrid sets. So this is for 1 genset with a bunch of PV panels. They don't parallel with each other, the gensets, so just 1 genset. So these are typically for under 100 kilowatt small genset scenario. So the ComAp system will balance the load between the PV panels and the batteries and the gensets to give you a robust, consistent, and reliable power, also saving you diesel. So this is our microgrid solution based on the IG500. These are for small microgrids. ComAp also has a big system. The big system is based on our IntelliSys hybrid controllers. So this system is for much larger hybrid plants. So this is for a whole field of PV panels or wind turbines. And you can use multiple gensets. Typically, you will have more than 1 genset. So the gensets, they will turn on more as you need more genset power and turn off some gensets when you don't need so much diesel power. So this will balance with the PV and how much sun is shining. You can also add cloud monitoring to see if there are clouds coming in to your site, etc. So this is an extensive hybrid solution. Quite popular in the South Pacific. ComAp has done a lot of jobs around the world, and we have a specific team at ComAp to serve you in hybrid projects. So if you need it, I have the links below for the hybrid solutions. Click it and look for someone at ComAp to help you. So let's take a look at the next slide. High-end advanced controllers. Earlier this year, ComAp had a worldwide presentation, a product review for this product line. This is the IG1000. We come a bit closer. So this is the main controller. You can see it has a lot of ports. This is probably the first thing you see. We have 3 Ethernet ports, 4 CAN ports. We have SD card slots. We have built-in 485 ports. So the main task of this new controller is it has increased its cybersecurity. So it's much safer to use this controller in scenarios where you need to do remote control. There are more encryption and authentication involved. And also with this controller, you can do 64 sets in one grid. So in one system, you can use 64 controllers parallel. Before, older generation controllers, on one system, you can only use 32 sets. If you need more, you need what we call bank controllers. For this one, you don't need the bank controller. You can put all 64 sets into one system. So this is easier to do. For this IG-1000, we can also do redundant. So we have redundant controller, and we also have redundant CAN that you can do for mission critical jobs. So for more on that, of course, there are links below for the IG-1000 product. So let's take a look at this display. The IntelliVision 5.2 is the standard display for the IG-1000. So it's a color 5-inch display, quite pretty, multilingual, very easy to use. Let's take a look at bigger displays. So along with the IG-1000 launch, ComAp also released the IV10 Touch. So IntelliVision 10 Touch is a 10-inch computer display. So it's a touch display. You can monitor multiple sets with this 10-inch display. This one right now is running IntelisScada. It's a new SCADA software from ComAp, which I will talk about in the next walls. So let's take a look at the next slide. Gas and CHP. ComAp's gas and CHP systems has been out for quite a few years. Let's come a bit closer. So you see we have a 12-inch touch display for CHP applications. People with CHP, they like to use bigger touch displays. And the core of the controlling is the IntelliSys gas, which is this controller right here. You can use extension modules for more I/O. You buy as many I/Os as you need for your CHP application. This unit also talks to different brands of ignition, air fuel ratio controllers or mixers, mixer drivers, speed controls, etc. So this is actually really powerful. For instance, from Multitech ignition, you can read its secondary voltage. For Altronic ignition, you can read a spark reference number. For Hughley-Tech ignitions, you can read its charging current. So these are all related to how well your spark plug is running. With these data, you can include and read into the IntelliSys system. If you can monitor these, secondary voltage, spark reference number, charging currents, real time, and in logging, you can predict when you will need to change your spark plugs and how well your spark plugs are running. So this really helps you maintain your gas gensets much better. You can also include these into your logic for your CHP. So as opposed to a generic PLC, the ComAp system, they have PLC blocks you can use inside it. The IntelliSys gas has the most number of PLC blocks in the ComAp range of controllers. And in the IntelliSys gas system, we already handle the synchronizing, the load sharing, the load controls, and all the protections for you. You only need to do the PLC for the CHP portion, and you can read the data back and forth, which again, very, very useful. For instance, if you use a digital speed control, inside the IntelliSys controller, for various speed controls, you can read the throttle flap feedback. So you know where your throttle flap is. Sometimes in the gas engine, if you have some issues, you have throttle fully open but not taking so much load. So right away you see, maybe some problems. So for us in the IntelliSys gas to read this and for you to determine to do something about it, it's quite easy to do. If you use a traditional PLC, you would have to write all the drivers to talk to the speed controls yourself, which could be a lot more work. So everything built into the IntelliSys gas for CHP, that's ComAp's benefit. So let's go to the other side of the booth. Marine. Let's come a bit closer. So ComAp has marine controllers, the DCU Marine for marine drive controllers. These controllers, they will be controlling and protecting your marine engines. They have marine classifications. The new product this year is the IntelliVision 12 Touch OEM. So this big 12-inch display, similar to the one in the Gaslight, but this one is an OEM version. This one has marine classification, and it can also support up to 4 controllers on one display. So you can have 4 DCU marine controllers using one display to show what's going on with the controllers. You can also use this IV12T OEM to support, say, IGNTC BB, ISNTC BB, InteliGen NT, base box or GSC controllers. Those also you can use up to 4 controllers with one IV12T OEM. So this is a new, say, firmware branch we have for the 12-inch touch display. So for those of you who wants to use our 12-inch touch display for multiple gensets, this is the product for you. Let's take a look at the next slide. Biofuel. ComAp has been doing biofuel for, again, quite a few years. In the photo we have on the booth is a mine haul truck. So we used to do more genset type applications. So you have a diesel engine, you add gas to it to make it biofuel to save you diesel. Of course, easy set like that, but of course we control knocking and we control very precisely how much gas to add at which instant of load, and everything is changing all the time. For mine haul trucks, you can also use ComAp system, so we support not only power generation, also for non-power generation applications, you can also use a biofuel. Again, links below, you can look for people to help you. Now let's go through back to the other side. Single genset applications, IntelliLite 4 series. Come a bit closer. So basically there are 5 models to the IntelliLite 4 series. Actually there are 7 controllers. There are 2 low temperature versions. The low temperature versions will be the AMF25 LT and the MR16 LT. But for the show, we only showed 5 models. So let's come a bit closer and take a look at the 3 bigger ones. So above, you would see the IntelliLite 4 AMF25 and AMF20. Below, you would see the IntelliLite 4 MR16. So first of all, what is AMF? What is MRS? AMF is automatic mains failure, which means the AMF controllers, we would detect the mains voltage, and also when there's a mains voltage fault, we would switch on the genset automatically, switch over your ATS, and do a full automated system like that. The MR system is what we call manual remote start. So you can press the button to manual start, of course, but you can also use remote start signals to start your genset. Now, you can program the AMF controllers to use as an MRS, but you can't go the other way around. So you can't take an MRS controller and make it AMF because it doesn't measure mains voltage at all for the MR series. And for the IntelliLite AMF25 and 20, the LED lights you see on the main side, if you use it as an MRS mode, the main side LEDs would switch off. So they're hidden. So it's very convenient for you to use also for MRS and AMF. Now, all of the series of the IntelliLite 4, they come with a 5-volt reference voltage now. So if you're using voltage sensors for oil pressure or other voltage 20 milliamps signals which needs a reference voltage, it's much easier to connect with all of the IntelliLite 4 series. With the bigger cutout controllers, the 25, the 20, the 16, they also come with a USB master port alongside with a USB slave port. The USB slave port is used for generally programming with a wire, with a USB cable from a computer. These are available for all of the IntelliLite 4 controllers and most of the newer ComAp controllers now. The USB master port, when I say it's used for programming, you can first, the customer can save the archive from the controller. They can send that archive file to you by email so you can check if there's something wrong with the genset. And you can also program the controller itself using a USB stick with the user ID and password, user ID and PIN, IntelliLite 4. You stick in the USB, you can reprogram the unit without having to use a computer. So you can upgrade the firmware, you can change settings if you have the UID and PIN. So this also is very convenient for trying to help the customers to resolve some issues, some settings they have. Maybe they set something wrong. For instance, if some mains protection limits are set a bit too tight, they want to change it, so you can help them. They don't know how to change it themselves. You can send them a file, they can use a USB to change it. So this is very convenient. Now let's take a look at the smaller ones, the AMF9 and the AMF8. The AMF8 is the simplest one of the whole IntelliLite 4 series. A lot of people like this unit. It's simple, it has the basic features, is the lowest cost version, so this one is quite popular. The AMF9, so these two controllers both have a smaller cutout. And the AMF9 functionally, it has all the functions of the old ComAp AMF25 NT, which ComAp will be phasing out this year. So if you have older systems using ILNT AMF25, you're looking for a one-to-one upgrade where you don't want different cutouts, you don't want any software not supported, any features not supported. The product to use to replace that would be the IntelliLite 4 AMF9. The only thing to watch out is all IntelliLite 4 series now have positive output. So for more detail on that, I have links below to the IntelliLite 4 series. Let's take a look at the next slide. InteliATS2. So let's come a bit closer. Again, there are two models. These are for automatic transfer switches. So these ones, we have the InteliATS250, which replaces the IntelliLite and InteliATS standard, which is the old version. Now is the InteliATS250. And the InteliATS270, which replaces the InteliATS Power. That was the old one. So what are the new features of this series? Of course, programming now is with USB. Both versions, it supports, of course, Genset and mains ATS switchover control. It also supports two mains switchover much better than the old series. And for the 70 models, you also have PLC built in you can use. The 50, there are no PLC. The 70 PLC you can use. Also, the 70 has built-in RS485, so you can have Modbus RTU. If you have external SCADA systems or other BMS systems, you want to monitor your ATS controllers, the easiest one to use would be the InteliATS270 because you can run it via Modbus RTU and monitor everything. One additional feature of the ATS2 series is it has what we call an elevator switch. So you can imagine in a scenario where your ATS, the mains has failed, it has switched over to Genset running, and the Genset is giving power. And the whole building is running, and you have elevators going up and down carrying people. You don't want to just switch back anytime. So even when mains return, you will first command the elevators to go to a safe level. Then you do a switch over because you don't want to be switching over while the elevator is running. So we call it an elevator switch. So this is available for the 50 and the 70 models. There's one thing you have to watch out. In the old InteliATS Power, there was a close transition function. In the new 70 model, this function is not there. So if you still need the close transition, you will have to use the old IANT Power. If you don't know what close transition is, you're probably not using it. So don't worry too much. Everything else is supported in the new one. And of course, all the controllers so far I've talked about, they all support ComAp's WebSupervisor and AirGate. So I will have more on that in the next coming slide. So If you want more information on the ATS2, there are links below. Now, let's go to the final slide. Okay, there are many things in this slide actually. Let's come a little bit closer and to take a look. First thing I want to talk about is the InteliGen 4200. These are our basic Genset controller. This is an upgraded version from the previous InteliGen 200. What are the differences? Well, this one, like the InteLite Force, it has the 5-volt reference voltage. Actually, this is one of the main things we had to do, because to get the 5-volt reference, we have to do the certifications all over again. So we thought, well, we might as well call it InteliGen 4200. So again, 5-volt reference, you can connect voltage sensors and also current sensors. They measure much better with the 5-volt reference. It supports WebSupervisor and AirGate 2.0. This one, it supports multiple ECU. So we can see going ahead, gensets or applications will have more than one ECU you need to connect to. So this generation is ready to connect to more than one ECU. For other benefits, there are links below to this product. You can take a look at ComAp's website. Let's go above. So this is our IntelliVision 18 Touch. So this is like a bigger version of our 10-inch. So if you have more gensets to monitor, you can take this one. Mainly in this slide, we are showing you IntelisCada software. This is ComAp's new SCADA software. It's fully customizable. It has built-in logos and graphics you can use. You can also use your own graphics. It will support HTML tags. So in future, you can attach cameras to monitor your site. There are free versions for very simple systems. For limited data points you need to read. If you want more data points to read, there will be paid versions. So again, for more information, there are links below. Now, finally, the WebSupervisor. We're now up to the 5.0 version. So in the latest WebSupervisor Cloud monitoring system, okay, what's cloud monitoring? This is if you have ComAp controllers or other branding controllers, I'll get to that. You can use ComAp's cloud monitoring to remotely monitor your genset or other device. So you can monitoring with your phone, with your iPads, with your computers, remotely via the internet. You can monitor your equipment. And we have geofencing, we have tracking and all that. And the new features to the 5.0 is we have multi-factor authentication. So it's more difficult to just for anyone to hack into your controller. You need to have multi-factor authentication, different ways to authenticate you or you before you're allowed to go into the system. And we also added, on top of very extensive reportings, especially in the paid versions, we have alarm analysis. So we help you analyze how your alarms are going so you can figure out how to increase your uptime. So these are newer features of the WebSupervisor platform. So below you will see 2 IntelliGateways. These are new products. ComAp will release them very soon, but we have them on the show already. One of the gateways is for you to be connecting to third-party controllers or devices. Say if you have an inverter that runs Modbus TCP or Modbus RTU, you also want to see how that thing is performing. You can use IntelliGateway 100, attach the Modbus RTU or Modbus TCP to read it, and then the IntelliGateway 100 can go on to ComAp's WebSupervisor, and you can monitor your inverter via ComAp's WebSupervisor. So not only can you use ComAp's own controllers, you can also use third-party controllers and devices. As long as they have Modbus TCP and Modbus RTU, we can monitor it and put it in the WebSupervisor. Let's come back out. So that was the virtual walkthrough of our booth in GPower 2022 in Nanjing. Thank you all for spending the time. Hopefully, very soon, everybody can travel anywhere in the world freely. Thank you very much. I'm Dennis Chung. Goodbye.